This is the online edition of Big Question. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Hussein Mohammed. Parliament now wants the consortium of free media houses under the Africa Digital Network to be given more time to set up their own digital infrastructure. The Parliamentary Committee on Energy and Communication says this will end the impasse between government, the Communications Authority and the free mainstream media houses that has left majority of TV viewers with blank screens. The MPs put to task Information Secretary Fred MATIANG'I and Communications Authority officials over the hurried nature of the switch-off of analog signals.
Parliamentary Committee on Energy and Communication would summon the Information and Communication Secretary Fred MATIANG'I, Chair and Director General of the Communications Authority Ben Gituku and Francis Wangusi. The impasse between government, the authority and media owners having caused a nationwide stir.
Your attitude, you will permit me, appears to be laden with flippancy and bullishness, and I'll say this. Both of you have said that it's only 3 stations out of 43. What are you talking about? That is the attitude that we have a problem with. And secondly, I've seen both of you address the media. Why are you both so angry? This is a public duty you are discharging. Why are you not being dispassionate? Why are you not dissociating? I have seen you, Mr. Wangusi, yesterday. You are on KBC. I watched you. Why are you both so angry?
I'm never angry. I'm the politest person you can come across. But I speak like that. When it comes to debate, since ever I was young, that is the way I drive my point home.
If you have seen us a little bit frustrated, it's because, to be honest with you, and I think we owe you that, we have to be very sincere with you, we've gone through a very difficult experience in terms of managing this digital migration.
The shutdown, members of parliament say, has darkened Kenyans' access to information. So what exactly caused this impasse?
The most important thing to the media houses really is not the transmission. It's the content that they carry. Content that costs money to produce. Sometimes they don't produce it here. Locally we have content that is produced here. I don't want to mention which media houses produce locally, but they also import. They buy content from Nigeria, from Europe and all those places. Now, if they will only be buying this content and then they give another distributor to distribute them, what have they been left with?
That tender and that process has been questioned more than 3 times at the PPOA, at the Anti-Corruption Commission, at the High Court. And every time this matter has been discussed, it has been a subject in so many litigations in court. And in each case, that tender has been found to have been done in a transparent and open manner.
From the beginning, really, you needed to have a consortium, maybe a consortium of all media houses. They come together, probably give a one joint license.
They've invested a lot in this country in terms of media. They've invested a lot of money, billions of shillings, for that matter. So we have to put into consideration how these punitive measures or these wrangles are affecting the economy of this country, because they also contribute to the economy of this country, those 3 media, and they are big in this country.
Members of parliament question the manner in which the regulator is handling the migration signals, despite the international crossover date being well over 4 months away.
It's clear. What happens if I don't cross over? Supposing Kenya stayed analog for another 6 months, contextualize, realize what is their problem and do it their own way.
By June, migrate, then 200 kilometers from the border of every country we border with, all the analog transmitters have to be switched off.
And bearing in mind that the deadline for digital migration is 17th of June 2015, why don't we look at these things in terms of perhaps having 30th March as a deadline for everybody?
To us, and even the government, it will be equivalent to having a mother having given birth to a baby, and then you take a baby and say, can you please take her back into the womb, which is impossible. So that is, to us, that is as impossible as it is. We cannot be able to go back.
They said even if you extend the time now, even to 30th of June or 30th of March, as you said, they're saying they're not ready to move. What makes them believe when we have information and we read it in the print media that they are planning to buy their own set boxes and they want to move even them? Why are they saying that these people are not ready to move, Chair?
As government are prepared to be firm because we act in trust of the people of Kenya. we will be firm and insist that we respect the timetable that has been given by the regulator. We are not going back on digital migration, honorable members. That boat has now left. We are moving forward. We want to work with the others.
The committee will hold a private meeting with Matiang'I Wednesday morning before meeting the media consortium, after which it will seek to bring all parties together at the table.
And it's a problem that continues to affect many. The Opposition Coalition for Reforms and Democracy has postponed the launch of the Okoa Kenya referendum draft bill following the ongoing digital migration standoff. Coalition Chief Raila Odinga said it will be impossible to pursue the push for far-reaching amendments to the Constitution without the participation of the country's main media houses, that is Royal Media Services, Nation Media Group and Standard Group, that command over 90% viewership. Odinga insists there was ill will on the government's part and its decision through the Communication Authority of Kenya to abruptly switch off the broadcast signals used by Citizen TV, KTN, NTV and QTV. He termed the move a conspiracy to deny Kenyans their constitutional right to access information. In the meantime, the umbrella workers' body, KOTU, has urged the government and the three media houses to seek a negotiated settlement to the stalemate and avert the looming socio-political and economic crisis. KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli, in a statement, said the blame game would only escalate the problem, leading to job losses and denying millions of Kenyans the right to access information.
We have therefore had to evaluate whether it is feasible to hold such an event without the participation of news organizations that carry 90% of the country's television content. We have come to the conclusion that it is not. There can be no amendment of the Constitution without the people, and there can be no people without the media. The Constitution guarantees the freedom of expression for all Kenyans and defines this freedom to include the freedom to seek, receive, or impart information and ideas. It is not possible to exercise this freedom under the current circumstances, where a large number of the people are locked out from their preferred news agencies.
All of us would like to see digital migration, but we want it to be done in an orderly fashion, carrying all the stakeholders on board. What is happening today is a process that was started when I was myself the Prime Minister of this country. So I'm very conversant with the issues at stake here. I don't think that the government is acting as a proper arbitrator in this matter. I think the government is giving preferential treatment to some players in this field, which is not correct. Kenyans, I think, feel frustrated. Kenyans don't enjoy the darkness that they are experiencing at the moment. But let me also warn the government that they don't have the last word in this issue. That Kenyans have a right to express their displeasure in any other form that they like. And it will be very unfortunate if this were to bring people on the streets of Kenya to express their displeasure. That is an option which we hope we are not going to have to take in order to resolve this stalemate.
Well, the forceful shut-off of the leading TV stations on Saturday has left many Kenyans across the country frustrated at their inability to watch their favorite programs.
Mombasa town, vibrant and lively under normal circumstances. But in the last 4 days, since the shutdown of 4 local stations, locals say they cannot shake off the feeling that something is amiss.
Actually, business imeenda low kwa ajili saizi unajua ndio wateja huwa wanakuwa wakiingia wakingoja traffic jam ikipoa na wangoje waone news, lakini saa hii tables are empty kwa ajili tuko in a blackout for all those days na tujui Kenya inaendelea.
The state of affairs replicated in Maralal. Here too, locals would throng restaurants and public spaces, waiting for news of a resolution to the impasse.
Sasa ile station nyingine yote tumefungiwa, hatujui mahali iko, Sasa kila customer wanakuja wanalalamika hapa, station iko wapi? Station iko wapi? Sasa tutawaambia nini?
On Saturday, the Communication Authority switched off Citizen TV, NTV, KTN and QTV as a row raged over digital migration.
Hii mtaa yetu hii, sisi watu wa chini. Hii mambo na TV kweli watoto wetu manyumbani wameboeka. Walikuwa wamefuatilia vipindi kwa TV, wakitoka mashule wanakaa wakirelax. Lakini saa hii wameboeka hata hakuna furaha kwenye nyumba.
The Supreme Court ruled on Friday that the digital migration must continue, rejecting the TV station's request for more time to import their own set-top boxes that would distribute their content. The shutdown of the TV stations now leaving members of the public in the dark.
We are even ready to wait for as long as it will take. Now, the media house yenyewe come up with the set boxes ambazo we can just purchase once, then we have them in use.
I hope the government is going to do something, at least waturudishie tu hizo ma channels watu waone, at least ile kuna entertainment mingi kwa hizi ma channels zingine na nini.
Well, the government plans to provide all HIV-positive children with free antiretroviral drugs. President Uhuru Kenyatta has directed the Ministries of Education and Health to work out the plans for provision of the drugs. The President was speaking during the launch of Global All-In, a campaign aimed at reducing HIV/AIDS infections among adolescents and young women. Statistics reveal close to 42% of HIV-positive school-going children cannot access the life-saving drugs. 17% of all HIV-related deaths occur to those under the age of 24 years.
We have the statistics, we know the schools, and we need to go around and find out who are these children, where are they, and work together with the communities, parents, and schools to ensure that all of them are on antiretrovirals. We have the statistics, so we must know where they are, unless the statistics are fake. Yeah? So we need to know what we are doing and how we are going to get about it. Na hiyo tafadhali mkuje mtuambie vile mtafanya.
Our parents, and I want to challenge them, our guardians and teachers should talk freely with their children on dangers of sex before marriage.
The health needs of adolescents, especially for HIV prevention and care, deserve more attention.
With the right treatment and the right support, anyone diagnosed with HIV can live a healthy life.
Maybe they should have taught us better how to abstain. 7 months later, I had already gotten my son, but he passed on. He succumbed to pneumonia. And at the same time, I was told I'm HIV positive. Where do you start at that point? Where do you begin? And I thought to myself, how many other girls out there like me? How many other girls out there don't have someone to stand in the gap for them?
I was born with HIV 11 years ago. My mother disclosed my status to me when I was 6 years old. Old enough to know to get myself to the toilet, to wash myself, and to feed myself.
The Catholic Church wants the Ministry of Education to review the Form 1 selection. Through the Commission for Education and Religious Education, the Church says the government must not be seen to be discriminating against a section of children, whether from public or private schools.
The uproar over the Form 1 selection process rages on, with the Catholic bishops now adding their voice to the row. The bishops say that private non-profit making schools specifically established to cater for children from poor and disadvantaged backgrounds were neglected during the Form 1 selection exercise. The press statement reads, and I quote, "As such, thousands of children from poor backgrounds were admitted to schools whose fees they cannot afford. We find this unacceptable and a violation of these children's constitutional right to a good education." The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops cite an instance where in one of their schools, the student admitted with the lowest mark had garnered 183 marks, while the one with the highest scored 408 marks. This, they say, will further create teaching and learning challenges in the school. They now want the government to review the selection process, saying that every child has the right to attain the highest grade of education and must not be condemned to schools that do not perform.
Well, that's all we have for the online edition of The Big Question. Thank you for watching. I'm Hussein Mohammed.